from the mountains of my home in the Eastern Cape. I intend to do what no other hunter has achieved before. It is an absolutely beautiful morning today. It's really warm, but there isn't a breath of wind, and I was actually going to do a little bit more practice with my bow, and then I started hearing the baboons barking early this morning, and I just got too excited and I thought I've got to get out there. So what I've done is I've come back to one of the furthest parts of our property, and I know that there's a really big troop of baboons that actually stay in these mountains and these valleys here behind us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way through these trees, just go nice and slowly and wait for the baboons to bark again so that I can know exactly where they are, and then I'll just slowly make my way through there. If I don't come right with this troop, then there's another troop that I know lives up in a valley that side of the farm that I'm going to try to. So first official morning of my challenge. I'm pretty excited, and hopefully I can get some really cool footage. So let's go. I'm here in the trees now, and I'm just going slowly. I'm just waiting for the baboons to bark so that I can pick up where they are. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but it's just phenomenal. There's so many birds going on at the moment. And there's baboon dung everywhere. So like I said, I know that there's a troop that lives here, and what I've done is I've actually gotten onto one of the pathways. I don't know if you can really see it just behind me there over my shoulder, and it's littered with tracks and dung all over the place. And this particular pathway actually leads up to an old cattle pasture that I know that we've seen them a couple of times when we've gone out and fed cattle and things like that. So they sleep up in the cliffs of the mountains, and they make their way down in the mornings into that open pasture. So I'm going to slowly walk through the bushes here, and then hopefully catch them near the pasture and get some good footage of them. There's also lots of bushbuck and dyke in this area, and if I see a nice big ram, I wouldn't mind having a crack at him too. Might be some good practice, and could always do with the meat. So yeah, I'm going to keep going through here nice and quietly, and hopefully the baboons bark and I can find out where they are. She's about 30 yards off the tree line in the pasture she's feeding. And I just glanced along the side and I saw a nice big bushbuck ram. The problem is he looks like he's going into the bush. I'll try and see if I can get some footage to my binoculars now for you. It looks like he might be going into the trees. And it's quite a big pasture. And I don't know if I'll be able to get around them. They'll definitely see me if I go straight to them. But there's some trees over there. Just try and turn some trees over there that I could get to and then try and cut around onto him. But you're a nice big bushbuck ram. Okay, he's moving to the right. If he stays on this line, I might be able to cut him off down the side. Let's give it a shot. Unfortunately, by the time I made it around the clearing to try and go after the ram, he'd already moved into the thick stuff and I lost sight of him. Although I could see the female still feeding there along the fringes, she was completely off limits, so there wasn't much I could do. With temperatures rising and it getting hotter, I decided to grab a drink by the nearby cattle trough, find some shade under a tree, and analyze what to do next. It's getting really hot now. I've worked most of those valleys behind me and that forest at the base there, and didn't really see anything there except for the bushbuck. And when I heard them barking earlier, I think obviously the baboons had moved off to a different direction than what I was expecting. So I'm just going to regroup. I'm going to head down to the truck now. I'm going to drive to a different part of the farm and check for another couple of troops that I know there. On our property we have at least 5 or 6 troops that have basically divided up our farm into their own little territories. So if I'm not finding the ones here, then I'll try the other side and see if I can find the baboons there. It's really hot at the moment. It's probably high 80s, mid 90s. The baboons don't mind the heat too much. They hate the cold, so they actually love the heat. And I'm kind of hoping to still see them around. We've got some oats pastures planted for our cattle at the back there, which the baboons love coming into. So I'm going to just poke my head in there and see if I can find a troop that side. And yeah, it's only 11:30, so I've still got a lot of time to go after them. Hopefully I can get some really cool footage of them. There's a few places that if they're out in the middle of these pastures, then I don't really have much of a chance to get them, so it'd be actually quite good to just get some footage, have a look over some nice big males and kind of learn the routes of which they're coming in and out of those pastures. But I'm pretty sure we'll find some baboons. There's tons of baboons on our place. After a quick bite to eat, I jumped back in the truck and headed back out. On my way along the road, I spotted these 3 baboons in a far-off pasture. I knew that they came from a bigger troop that dominated the area and they were going to make their way up into the trees. So I decided to quickly take the truck and drive around behind the trees that you can see and get into them in hopes that the trees would give me some sort of cover so that the baboons would work their way up towards me. So when I made my way into the trees, I set up my camera, but by the time I got there, most of the troop had moved off, and there was just one single female that was milling around that I thought I'd have a go at. But unfortunately, she saw me coming and moved off slightly down the hill. And when I saw the rest of the troop was down there, I decided to reposition and see if I could get on top of them. pretty intense. Just move this down. Here we go. I had that troop just below here that kept watching me, and I decided to give it a go anyway because there was a whole lot of youngsters and they were just milling around. They weren't too concerned, and what I actually wanted to do was hopefully get down there and try and catch the males that hang around on the fringes. So often you get subordinate males, or males that are old and have gotten kicked out, or males that are trying to take over the troop. They tend to hang around on the fringes, and they're always about 40 or 50 meters away from the troop. So I was kind of hoping that, you know, if I could get down towards where the troop was, then I might be able to catch one of those males coming across, and hopefully they didn't see me. So I got down there and the troop slowly moved off, and I kept ranging and I kept glassing and just checking the trees, but I couldn't see anything, and I was going in and out the whole time. And then when I came out, I heard a bark behind me, and I turned and I looked up, and I just saw this male baboon come charging straight down the hill towards me. You could actually see his coat in the sunlight. It was almost like golden. And I quickly dropped this little Sony camera down on the tripod. I pushed record, and he was coming straight towards me. And as I reached for an arrow to knock it, I mean, he hadn't seen me just by the fact that he was coming straight towards me. So as I reached for an arrow and I pulled one out to knock it, in mid-stride, he just went and turned 90 degrees and went bolting off, barking at the bottom there. So it's amazing how in tune these guys are to the environment. Just the slightest movement of me put an arrow in and he was gone. But I think if I hadn't have moved, he would have run straight past me. It was incredible. I hope I got some of that on footage or my GoPro, I don't know. But that troop's moved off now. They're all barking at me. I got no chance there. I'm going to skirt around the backside here, and then I will see what else I can find and head back to the truck. But yeah, so far an exciting turn of events. It's not going to be easy. These buggers they're difficult. All right. Barking in one of the pastures here where the cattle are. Just have a look. In one of these pastures here, and I thought I'd give it one last crack. There's still a bit of time, and I was walking through this forest on my right hand side, and it's so dry in there at the moment. We haven't really had much rainfall. I might as well have been walking through there banging pots and pans. The baboons heard me come in, and they just shot straight off into a deep valley on the other side of the pastures, and I'll never come out there. So I figured sun's fading, might as well call it a day. I can always come out again, anytime and give it a crack. Not a complete waste of time. I wouldn't say it's a failure. I don't like that word. I think as long as you come away learning something, and it's not a failure. If you spend a bit of time hunting and you didn't learn anything, then you failed. But I definitely learned with that first troop that I was trying, that their movements might be a little bit different. I learned with the other troop when they're spooked which way they run off to. I learned how big they are. There's 2 males in there, decent size, and there's another fringe male, so I'll remember that for next time. Also learned what a pain in the ass it's going to be to carry 2 tripods. Remember to turn the GoPro on, knock an arrow. Is that one recording? Check the other one's recording. All the while making sure the baboons don't spot you, getting your angles right, that type of stuff. A bit of a pain in the ass, but I actually quite enjoy it. Like I said before, this is something that's going to be quite a cool experience, and hopefully those people watching can learn from it too and see just how difficult it is. So good day, first day. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep practicing before I come out again next. So I'm going to go back now, just double check everything, clean my bow. I kind of dragged it a little bit through the bushes there with this last stalk. Just clean it all up, and then review some footage and start putting together this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please interact, drop some comments, subscribe, those types of things. Really appreciate it, and I'm going to keep at it.